Let's take a look at the basic unit test structure. There, see? That's not too scary, is it? First off, we will break down each part of this test file. The UUT variable at the top is the actual file that we're going to be testing. In this case, UUT stands for Unit Under Test. And yes, you might see it as SUT for System Under Test. What matters is that this is the file you are testing. As long as your tests are consistent, you can name and make this variable stand for whatever you want.
Purple Monkey dishwasher.
Next up is the first describe. Each describe section allows nested areas inside it, as you will see in a moment. Right now, we are describing the top-level file. The before each section is a powerful tool to instantiate variables or inject data. And finally, we come to the purpose of the test, the actual methods. Here we have a describe section for each of the methods that's in the file, because we're going to describe what happens when the method is called. The way to read these is, for the first one, when some method is called, and for the second one, when some other method is called. Okay, now we're going to drill into each section. Inside the before each section, we instantiate the UUT. Anything inside the before each is available for everything inside that parent describe. Now let's drill into the first method. It is used to wrap a single specific thing that happens. As you can see, you can have multiple it sections. This all depends on what the method does. The it should read like a sentence, like it sets something. And lastly, let's drill into the it. This is where the executable code lives to run the test. And please ignore the example test since it's just a placeholder.
Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Now we can see all of the describes and it sections for this file. As mentioned before in the intro, we can now see how this reads as documentation for the file. For instance, when describing some file, when some method is called, it sets something and it does something else. When some other method is called, it sets something and it does something else. While this is a very simple example, hopefully you can see how useful this is. Even a non-technical person would be able to read the describe and it sections and be able to tell you exactly what this file does. So as you can see, there's absolutely no reason to be afraid of unit tests. There is no reason to...